Welcome, beautiful you. In this video, I like to tell you something that is really close to my heart. It's really has helped me a lot in life. And it's about creating a deeper sense of joy, creating or having a sense of being more happy in life. Um, yeah, because when I was younger, I often woke up with a sense of sadness, a sense of basically hiding, not really wanting to be part of life. And I did not have a sense where this was coming from. This was just my normal. I didn't know anything else. And later on, I came to understand that this is basically a happiness baseline. We all have a happiness baseline, meaning that the way you feel, how you're going on in life, this is what you experience as your way of happiness. Like, so if you're doing cool things, you think like, oh, I'm happy, and then maybe things go a bit wrong, and like this is like the sad or the grumpy or the the tired me. So these are emotions that we think they are all the same for all human beings, but if we look in our bodies, in the chemistry of our bodies, then some people will have a higher amount of serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, so like the happy hormones, than others. And the ones that feel more anxiety or more depression or being on the low side, they will have maybe more adrenaline or cortisol in their life, but at least there will be less of the happy hormones. And you think that this is your normal and that everybody around you is feeling in the same way. But actually, this might not be really the case. There's a big average, I think. But so when I came to do some exercises to start lifting my happiness baseline, I came to understand and I came to feel in my body that sadness or that depletion or tiredness or not wanting to really being part of life was something that I could change. Yes, I also have done a lot of inner work, a lot of looking at, you could say, your darker parts inside of yourself or the things that are sabotaging. But even when having done all that amount of work, there was still this sadness, this massive, big sadness in my heart. It was almost that I could feel it like a pain that was just there. And it was not there maybe when I was interacting with friends or when I was working, but as soon when I was alone or when I had time to be alone having time for myself, and often this sadness popped up. So before I go further in this story, I want to maybe tell a little bit about the different hormones, the different happiness hormones that can help you to lift your baseline up. So we have four probably very familiar names to you: serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, and oxytocin. Well, let me start with oxytocin. It's, I think, one of the most beautiful, happy make hormones. Maybe that's a personal one. But the oxytocin is the one that is being increased in your body when there is affection and touch and bonding. So even when there's a newly born baby and we have the breastfeeding, then immediately the body is already making this oxytocin. So this bonding hormone is immediately coming into the body, which also helps with the milk production. But it also is made in your body when you be with your loved one, you hug, or when you have sex, making love, that whole part. But it's also there when you have your maybe a dog or a pet that you like to hang out with and where you're cuddling with. So all that bonding, all that touch. It can be even a compliment that comes through a phone or if you talk with somebody. But a little bit of connection, that's when oxytocin is made in the body. And that makes us feel well, it makes us feel good. So here's the importance as well of physical touch, of saying compliments or good things to each other, because that creates that oxytocin and it will lift you up. So another one that you might be very familiar with is dopamine. So dopamine is the reward happiness hormone. So when we can reward ourselves, so that can be when we achieve, and it can be a sports achievement or a work achievement, but it can also be small things like an achievement that you set yourself a little goal of tidying up your room and you have done that, and it gives a sense of satisfaction because you have achieved something. So the reward happiness hormone, it gives a good sense when you have finished a task. Yeah, so something easily for yourself maybe to do, maybe just say like, oh, I'm going to run, and you finish that run, or you go to your yoga or your sports activity, you've done that, that makes you feel good. It's not only because of the dopamine, because of the reward, it's also because of the we had the endorphins. So the endorphins, they come in if you do a physical exercise. So any walking, running, sports activity will have that, making those endorphins into your body. So then we have a fourth one, which is serotonin. The serotonin is a very important one. It's your, they call it as well, the mood stabilizer. So it's influencing your mood, how you feel. And now just think of things that make you feel good. Now that can be a walk in nature. That can be for you just having a quiet, relaxed time with a book on the couch, or you just want to watch a movie. But something that gives you, yeah, a sense of maybe coming home, coming more aware, more present with yourself. So one of the things that is important for the serotonin, the mood stabilizer, is a proper amount of sleep. Because if we don't get the proper amount of sleep, serotonin level is really going to drop quickly in your body. And you're going to feel tired, you don't feel like doing anything, you might even go like hunching forward with the shoulders. You don't have the energy to do anything. A very good one as well to lift the serotonin is also to learn to meditate, because meditate gives this deep sense of rest. It gives sense of, yeah, kind of calming the mind, coming more internally aware. So any other activities, because meditation might be not your thing, so any other activities that just kind of calm you down, that's coming more with that sense of connecting more of the inside of you with your internal world, will let the serotonin level rise in your body. So sometimes these things are a bit difficult. So I always say the first thing that you can do to feel better is just start watching a good movie. Like I would say, like, go for a comedy or something that makes you laugh, because laughing is the number one that's just lifting a whole bunch of these happiness hormones. Yes, I know dark chocolate is one of those other ones that they say they help. It does increase the serotonin. I'm wondering a little bit how much it really lifts your emotions, your happiness, but it's always mentioned in the list of things that you can do for making yourself feeling more happy. But having said so, these are all basically external things. So you need to go out for a walk, or you need to have a person or an animal to cuddle with. You need to go early to bed, or setting yourself those tasks of doing something or having an exercise. So what I learned is that there's something you can do internally to start changing. So instead of needing something from outside, there's something that you can just do with yourself. Of course, walking in the park or on the beach is also something for yourself, but this is something you can just do when you wake up or before you're going to bed. And that is just going back to a memory, to a moment, maybe not long ago, maybe it can be very long ago, that you felt happy. A memory that you felt like, oh, there I felt very, it can be a sense of calmness, it can be a sense of joy. A very good one is a sense of feeling grateful. So I will give you meditation after as well for being grateful and practicing this. But just going back to a memory, closing your eyes, having a moment to sit before you're going to bed, and think of what you're grateful for, what made you smile, what gives you joy, that will internally lift those hormones without needing to do or without needing to organize something. Because your mind and your body, they don't know the difference which is really happening, what your physically body is doing, or what your memory, your internal world is saying to you. So instead of having to go outwards, it's almost the journey of going inwards, going into a memory, going into the sensations that gave you. And automatically, these happy hormones, they rise in the body. Like I said, I will give you an exercise in the next video. One more thing that I want to tell about this is, so when you start learning to rise, when you do an exercise like a meditation or visualization, going back to those memories often, and you do that preferably every day, if you can, even every morning and every evening, you start rising that happiness baseline. Because more and more of those happiness hormones, they be accumulated in the body. They increase, like they increase and decrease the whole time. But you train your body and you train your mind to have more of this sensation, and it becomes your new normal. And this is, I think, very cool information and very cool practice to do. You might feel, if you don't do it after a while, that's what I've been working and been practicing with, is like when I stop doing these exercises, then I slowly drop back to my old normal. Sometimes it was very hard, because when I feel so down and so sad, it's very difficult to go into back to a happy memory. I don't feel at all doing maybe that. But the more I practice to have these uplifting memories, the more I noticed, the easier it became, the more they increased in my life, and the less I dropped back. And maybe when I dropped back, I started again, and I started again, and I started again. And by now, after doing this for only a couple of months, I've noticed that I actually just can sit somewhere. You just have to think of a memory, or just actually feel the sensation. I don't even have to go back to a memory. And I already feel uplifted. So I truly believe that for everybody in this world, we can all lift our baseline of happiness. That the happiness where we are living in the baseline, and I would actually not really say that's a happiness one, because a lot of us are just going to work, needing to perform, needing to get targets, are tired when we're home. We also need to do then the household or maybe kids or like, so life heavy. Often they say like, oh, fine God, it's thanks God it is Friday, finally go to a weekend, and the Monday is already like getting all that negativity to start the week. So I think this whole almost depletion of our society, the tiredness that's going on there, is making those happy hormones, that baseline, a bit on the low side. So let's see, if you like, if you want to increase that, see what it brings you. It comes with practice. It comes with, just like brushing your teeth, you just need to make a rhythm of it. It just takes a little bit of effort to do it every day. But see what happens. And what if you become more happy, you have more energy, you have more joy to greet your hubby, your kids, your colleagues with like like with happiness, and that will lift them up. And that's not the purpose to do this exercise. But what if we all become more happy? And maybe happy is not the right word. It's an inner sense of joy. And not so long ago, I heard a sage, you could say a holy person, or at least a very spiritual person, say that everyone can become enlightened. Because enlightened is nothing more than become free of suffering. So when you start increasing that happiness baseline, then you come to that inner sense of joy that you don't need anything, nobody outside of you, to just feel better. It's also giving a big sense of empowerment. You get the power to feel good. And then you're moving more and more away from suffering. And things will shift in your life. So enlightenment is not a strange concept. A concept that's too far out of reach. I don't say I'm enlightened, but I say my life has become more light. I have more enlightened moments. And I wish that for you too. I hope to see you in the next video, where I will just guide you through a meditation or a sensation of feeling gratefulness, and how that already raises your energy, raises your field, your vibration, and how that will lift you up. Namaste.